I take a quarter of a pill, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. And then I start to feel real funny. I'd used Kratom the night before, for reference. Then I run to the bathroom, and it felt like my kidneys, liver, and stomach were trying to be forced out of my anus. Run to my car, drive myself to the hospital. I park in the hospital, I get out.
All right, hello, and welcome to an extra special Patreon episode of Dopey, corresponding with the 300th episode of Church and Other Drugs with my good friend, Jed Payne. Jed, how are you?
I'm great, David. How are you?
You're that good that you're great? Is that right?
I'm great.
Is that how it is? You're great?
That's good.
Break it down.
It's just not, we went to, so I had my first Father's Day yesterday, right? And I took, what was that?
That was a yummy sound.
Oh, so I took Georgia and Ruth. We went to this place in Ethel, Louisiana called Barnhill Preserve, and it's a exotic animal rescue, and they do tours, but their whole shtick, there you go, is that you get super close and you can interact with the animals. And I paid extra, and I got 30 minutes in a cage with a serval, which is a giant African wildcat. And like, dude, I just got to chill with this serval. Then you get to go in a room and feed sloths. You get to go in a pen and pet all these kangaroos. You go in a goat pen, you see ostriches and emus. And Ruth, my daughter, was just like loving it. She has a huge interest. I mean, she's only 7 months, but she loves our cats. And so her brain was exploding seeing these like giant versions of her favorite things.
No, it's so fun. It's so fun. How janky a spot was it? Was it one of these really like there's a place in the Catskills in New York that has like tigers in cages, and it's just fucked up.
No, this is like, legit.
Okay, please.
Oh no, yeah, it's worth, like, I've been 3 times. You can also swim with otters there.
No,
I don't mind and I did it. You get 45 minutes in a above ground pool with 2 or 3 Asian small claw otters, and it's the coolest shit in the world, dude.
Is it freshwater or saltwater?
It's fresh.
That's very interesting. Do you have any videos of you swimming with the otters?
I do. Of course I do.
I'd really like to see that.
I will show them to you.
I'm going to be really annoying. You ready for me to be really annoying?
Yeah, I am.
When last you were on the show, we were covering some sacred ground, I think.
Okay.
Ups and downs, ins and outs. What the fuck? It's been a rough, but now miraculous turn of events. Mm-hmm. And I always love the happy ending, the clutching victory out of the depths of hell. And you went through it over the past few years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paint us a little picture, like what the fuck happened in the end.
Well, what did I
don't remember because we didn't include a lot of stuff, right? We told the story that we were comfortable in telling, which I think involved, and I'll take out anything you need me to take out.
Yeah, sure, go for
Gambling.
Yes.
Fucking suicidal ideation.
Yes.
Can I say the K word?
Yeah. What was that?
Kratom.
Oh, Kratom? Yeah.
So like that was a lot of fucking shit. And then and divorce. Mm-hmm. And then over the course of time, I know you met Georgia, your wife. Mm-hmm. You had a baby. Fucking got your shit together. What was the beginning of turning it around, my friend?
All right. Well, so yeah, I guess I'm pretty sure I told you all this, but if not, here you go. So to get off, so when I got divorced, it's tough to piece it all together, but I got divorced, and I was almost off of Kratom. I say that. I was like 4 days off of Kratom, and the day she said I'm leaving, I relapsed on Kratom again, of course. And so then I was just, I didn't tell, anyone. Then I was just like, fuck, I'm on Kratom. And she left, and I was just like, okay, like, I got to do something. So I went to my doctor and I got on Suboxone very begrudgingly. But Kratom is a fucking, I don't care, bro. Kratom is a fucking monster, dude. Like the extracts, and it's currently got one of my friends so bad right now, and I'm trying to he just won't. So I had to get on Suboxone because I just could not stop on my own power. And I was trying to avoid going to rehab. That was the whole thing. So I was trying to stop on my own power and could not. No, I was trying to avoid going to rehab. I already said that. And then it's like, I've done this game before, so how the hell do I get off of Suboxone? And I asked around the Dopey Nation. I asked a bunch of people because I heard about sublicade, and that seemed to be the consensus easiest way to get off of the strips. And
wait, so Dopey Nation was a good resource?
It was, yeah, very good plug.
Amazing. Well, listen,
it's a good.
It shocks me. It's not a plug. I'm pleasantly surprised.
No, it's almost. You probably don't remember the Hive, do you? Like Arrowwood and the Hive.
I know of those things, but I'm not too literate with this stuff.
It's a dude. I am in a bunch of private ongoing DMs with extremely knowledgeable, heavy drug users on Facebook Messenger, like where people that know they're the Chris's and the me's. You know what I'm saying? They know what the fuck. And so it's been extremely helpful finding it's a good resource of actually finding people that have been through the random fucked up shit that I have, right? So I get on sublicade and it worked. It worked like gangbusters.
Tell us what sublicade is really fast.
That it's just a monthly injection of buprenorphine. And it has like a 77-day half-life, something insane. So you get like 100 milligram or 300 milligram shots, and you're supposed to, like, the protocol is you get a 300 milligram shot and then 2 100 milligram shots the month after. But I brought, I'm such a annoyance to doctors. I showed up with like peer-reviewed journal reports about people starting only with the 100 milligram shots because I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm trying to get off. So here's this. So I would like a 100 milligram shot, please. And they're like, oh, okay. She gave the whole, I'll be right back, and like went and conferred. And she was like, okay, I think we can do that. And I was like, yeah, of course you can. So I got the shot. And my plan, I was going to do 3 shots and that's it. And that's what I did. So I got 3 shots and life was good for 6 months, 6 or 7 months. So to anyone considering the shot, here is something to consider. I peed positive for buprenorphine for 263 days and I only got 3 shots. So, like, that's how long it lasts in your system.
Dense. What's the difference between sublicade and Vivitrol?
Vivitrol is just naltrexone, so it is only an opioid antagonist. So all it does is block your opiate receptors. So no feel good whatsoever. Buprenorphine is a partial opioid antagonist, so it's half feel good, half block opiates. But you only get so high, and eventually you get completely tolerant. Yes.
Right. That's Suboxone.
Yes, correct. The sublicade shot, you do the first 3 days after the shot, you are blasted, dude.
That's fantastic.
It's nice. Oh, it was great. Yeah, you were super fucking high. I did have in the side effects, like I sweat like crazy. But
like the Comanches in the ancient Native American ritual.
Absolutely. So the idea of how it works is it's a self taper because it leaves your body so long and so slow that the idea is you just stop the shots and it just leaves your system and you don't experience withdrawals. So yeah, that was essentially my experience, except for like a 2-week period of like if full on withdrawals are a 10, it was like a 1.75 2. Like I had insomnia, I had some sweats, I had aches.
Anyway, so you get how many of the shots? 3 shots.
I just got 3. And I switched jobs to a less stressful job. I am back in school. I'm in a much healthier relationship. Life got better. And then around the 7th or 8th month, literally overnight, I got just blindsided with cravings like you wouldn't believe. Using dreams every
for
single
kratom
night.
or for what are you craving? Kratom or anything?
Kratom, opiates, kratom mostly, oddly enough. Kind of just cravings in general, and so good, dude.
It's like a parade is going to come by.
Yes, exactly. And I don't even remember when, but yeah, I relapsed on kratom again, and this time, this is where the turn of events gets kind of confusing. So this time, I kind of kept it secret, and then I told people. Georgia found out, and it was like, okay. You know, it was like sort of tolerated, but sort of like you need to do something. I'm not quite sure. Then what? Yes. Oh, you look like you wanted to say something. So then I find Tianeptine, which is the real smoke shop devil heroin. I don't know if anyone on your show has come and talked about that yet, but it's do not. It was Voldemort for the longest time. Like I wouldn't even speak its name to people because even now, I don't want to give anyone. It's fucking terrible. It's just an extraordinarily short acting and addictive opiate that will give you withdrawals like an antidepressant, Xanax, and opiate withdrawals. It's fucking horrendous and it's super expensive. Don't do it.
It's kratom.
No, it's Tianeptine. So it was a French antidepressant called Stabilon that they made in the 60s, and the dose was like 15 milligrams 3 times a day, and it's super effective. But somebody found out that if you take over 100 milligrams, it is a mu opioid receptor agonist, like 20 times more potent than morphine.
But how did you get it?
They sell it at smoke shops.
They sell this French drug at smoke shops?
Yeah, it became a legal it's like a popular, it's up there with like phenobut, kratom, tianeptine. It's just one of those legal gray area drugs
Can
they
I
sell
ask
online.
Can I ask you a really stupid question that might be offensive also?
Sure.
You're like one of the more sober spiritual people that I've known over the past while. When did you start slumming it up in smoke shops? Or did you never stop?
What do you mean?
I mean, like, and forgive the inference of slumming, but
yeah, what do you mean?
What brought you into the smoke shop? Like, were you after kratom in the first place, and then you kind of just had this routine of going in, or in your years of total abstinence, like you weren't going into smoke shops, just reading up on Tianeptine?
Yeah, vape shops. I mean, vape shops.
Ah, it's the vape.
Yeah,
it's the vape. So
yeah.
the vape sounds very dangerous for addicts in recovery. Because, like, it really does. And forget about popcorn lung and all that stuff. You're going in there, and there's kratom, and there's tianeptine,
CBD, and Delta 8. And
then there's fucking live resin and moon rocks and every fucking thing. And you just go in to vape nicotine, and then you're on tianeptine. So talk about your experience on tianeptine.
Yeah, I mean, so then I'm just doing Tianeptine and Kratom, and that is when things just rapidly decline. Because it was like I don't know, like $110 a day, something like that.
No way. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I mean, the dude, the tolerant,
What's up with Georgia at that point?
Extremely upset. No.
Pregnant? Not pregnant.
No.
Okay.
Not pregnant. So
just pissed.
Yes. And it's just bad thing. It's not good. Helpless feeling. It's terrible. This is a dark time. This is not a good time. And so okay. So me and my buddy go on sober vacations every year, and so my idea this year was I am gonna use this time to detox. Like, that's gonna be my break, because I'm doing everything I can not to go to rehab. This is all stuff I haven't covered, right?
Listen, I'm like early onset dementia over here. I'm happy to hear. I like to hear this story.
So
I don't think so. Do you think you told this story on Dopey before? I don't think so.
I may have done it when I spoke.
I think you didn't want to maybe tell this stuff, or maybe it was all before this happened.
This probably won't go on my Patreon now. That I don't know, it might. So this is one of my last ditch efforts where I'm like, okay, if this doesn't work, I'm doing the bargaining thing where, like, if this doesn't work, then I'll think about going to rehab. And it's like, okay. And the vacation is to Mexico. So, so I make it, day 2 there, and I am full blown withdrawing. And I knew they sold like Ultram at the pharmacies there, and like Ambien and stuff, and I go in there and I grab some Ultram, and like it sort of works, and I'm doing this.
What is Ultram? It's like a sleep aid?
Tramadol.
Yeah.
It's just a synthetic bullshit opiate that'll give you a seizure.
Yeah.
And so the second time I go in there, I was like, yeah, let me get some Tramadol, and they're like, would you like to see the menu? And I was like, yes, I would. I would
love to see the menu.
And they pull this sheet out from under the counter, and they put it down, and I just get to and I just see oxycodone, and I was like, I can just hand you money and you're going to hand me oxycodone? And
when did this happen? How did I not hear this story?
I don't know.
It's fantastic. Maybe this shouldn't be a Patreon episode. Maybe this should just be the real thing.
Oh, jeez, dude. I don't know.
Okay, it's up to you. You can determine afterwards.
Okay. And so now
I get it, though. I get it. I fucking even like not in that situation. I get it.
Oh, and dude, it was I totally threw this on a credit card because it was like $260 for like 20 or something. Like, It was something crazy, but what are you gonna do? So I do that, and now I realize that I have, because the whole time in all of these like air quote relapses, I had semi-justified it because I hadn't done drugs.
Right.
I had not done illegal drugs. I'd only done like Kratom or prescriptions or whatever. And now I had finally crossed the line where I did like an actual drug. And so I texted Georgia while I was there, and I was like, hey, this is what happened. And she got seriously upset. And I was like, that's an odd reaction. And the next day she calls me and tells me that she's pregnant. And I was like while I'm in Mexico, like while all this is going on, she tells me that. And I was like, oh, that explains everything, And so like I found that out like in a hotel room in Guadalajara, Mexico. So
were you just eating the oxycodones, or were you snorting them?
I think I snorted some and ate some. There's like a ton of filler. I mean, they
It's
weren't
not
the
an easy
greatest
pill to
quality.
snort. Yeah, of course.
No, it's not. I was eating a lot.
Did you get higher than you had been in a long time, or was the Tianeptine and the Kratom way stronger than that shit?
I think it's just like, I think, I've done some damage to the system, bro. It's just like, I don't even know that I'd ever be able to like reclaim like the really good highs like that. That might just be over with. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
whether it's
your belly full of NA, your mind full of AA.
I mean, in my head, that was going to be like the most relieving feeling on earth, and it just wasn't. I got sick. Oh God, I was on a 8-hour bus ride from Puerto Vallarta to Guadalajara, and I was just in the bus bathroom puking my guts out, dude. It wasn't great. It was, so when I get back, it's like, okay, I need to go to a treatment, obviously, finally. And I told, God, I never know why I think this is the better sounding option, but like my whole thing was like, I'm just struggling to get honest. So I tell my parents and I tell my boss that, hey, don't worry, but I am extremely suicidal, so I'm going to go to a mental institution for 30 days. And they're like,
I think that's what you told me too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I might have. That was and
that was
the
like, rap you gave me, I think.
They're like, okay, what the fuck? And I was just like, yeah, I'll be back. Don't worry. And so I called my old boss and I told him.
Isn't it so funny how that's the easier thing to say?
It is.
I'm suicidal.
It's crazy.
In reality, you took a bunch of oxycodones and then you just tell your mom, who's probably like, what's better for a mother to hear, that you're suicidal or that you ate oxycodones?
I know.
I don't know.
I know. I believe me. I get it now, but geez, dude.
No, I don't know. I'm not. Listen, I'm not saying I have an answer to that question. No, I don't have an answer to that question.
Oh, it's way better to. I'll get to that. So, so I called my old boss, and he is at my old boss from the treatment center I worked at, and I had to be like, hey, I need to go to rehab, and he was like, good one, and I was like, no, seriously, like I gotta go to rehab. Like I've been relapsing for like 2 years, and he was like, what the fuck, dude? And he was like, well, I work at this new place, so come here. And I was like, okay. He's like, you may see some familiar faces. I was like, I don't care. All right, cool. And so the day down to almost the minute. So when I check in to the treatment center, I'm in the first intake place, and I get a call, or I get a text from Georgia, and she says that she had a miscarriage. And so, like, the craziest. So it's just like going from, the reason that I'm doing all of this is just like immediately plucked away. And it's I can't even really accurately convey like the fucking emotions.
It's very complicated, dude. Yeah.
And then as soon as I walk to the smoke pit, I see 2 of my former clients. I'm a rehab counselor, and they're like, hey man, you work here now? And I said,
like, yes, I do. I do work here. That's funny.
I said, I live here now. And they go, oh yeah. And they didn't they just kind of gave this like solemn look of like, it do be like that. Like it was, but it was, dude, I've never felt lower in my entire life. I've never felt more humbled and just, and so then I did the experience of going through treatment number 21, but this time I'm a counselor and I'm in group with people and I'm getting worksheets that I used to hand out. It's just, it was like, okay, this is what the fuck happened, bro. Oh dude. In the first, I was good. I was a good little boy. until like a week and a half in, and then they like didn't let me use the phone, and that is when I just snapped and pulled my like, I know how this shit works, and I'm like, I've spazzed on the tech, and then I called my old boss, and I was like, I should have gone to a fucking place and played with horses and done yoga, and you send me to this fucking bullshit, and they don't even have TV, and dude, I went
TV.
no, well, in my room, you know, I was like,
Wow,
I don't need treat.
Princess Jed comes
Bro.
out. Yes, good
And
for you.
Dude, I went on a 10-minute tirade, and he just goes, "Are you done?" And I was like, "Yes, I'm done." Okay,
right. It's amazing. And then what happens?
So then,
I think it's very important. I think this story is super important. I think it's very important to know everybody who works in the industry that was one of us is still one of us. And like, that's the fucking deal. If you're not doing, I mean, we can all go out at any moment. You know what I mean? There's things to prevent it, but if you're not doing those things to prevent it, it's right there.
Yeah. And it was just an unbelievable perfect storm of things. And this is also what I'll say is that the progressive aspect of the disease is like unbelievably accurate, because I did not, as a 36-year-old, I did not bounce back like I did even when I was 27, or, you know, it like in all ways, I mean, physically, mentally, spiritually, the obsession didn't really get removed. It was, every part of it was harder than it was in the past. And yeah, that's the straight up progressive part. Like I expected, I mean, just everything, like I've put, and it was the first time, every time I've, you know, they do your blood work at treatment and they come back every time like, oh, you're fine. And this was the first time they were like, hey man, your thyroid levels are like crazy. You know, like there's actually some shit going on. And it's like, okay, yeah, man, this isn't going to be the same every time. And so when I got back, like I was okay, but the obsession, it was like every day I wanted to use, and
in there or out of there?
Out of there. So I'm out of there, and you know, I made it. God, this is the part I guess I haven't really talked about. I hate when you do this, dude. You always fucking pull this shit out. So I made it. I can't. Yeah, it's fucking. I can't believe this shit. But so I made it. So Georgia got. I proposed to Georgia. She got pregnant, which was like, you know, it's like the rainbow baby, as they call it. And I was super, super scared at first, and then that turned into excitement, and now we're getting ready. And so she is.
It's a lot of pressure, right? It's a lot of fucking pressure.
It's a lot of pressure, and I was afraid. I was full of fear, and I was afraid that it was going to break me. And she was 8 months pregnant, and I was 11 months sober. And the day after my birthday, I went to the gas station and I bought a Kratom shot. Don't know why. Like, still don't. I don't know why that day. I don't know why that happened. I don't know why I was without defense against that first drink. I was so mad at God for like letting that happen. This is my thinking.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you protect me? Like, why? Like, I was fucking unable to not do that. You know what I mean? And that was scary.
Yeah.
And so now, dude, I'm having a fucking baby in a month, and I relapsed again. Like, oh no. Like, and the day one, I called my sponsor right after, and I said, dude, I just fucking drank Kratom, and he just goes, Jed, what the fuck? And I was like, I don't know, dude. And I was like, dude, we gotta go. We gotta go nuclear. Like, I need to get the Vivitrol shot. Like, that's what I need to do. Like, I can't do this. And
does the Vivitrol shot block Kratom?
Yeah. Yep. Sure does. And I'll get to that. So this is where also the disease is a fucking bitch, because in my mind, so I was like, yeah, I'll get the Vivitrol shot like on Monday. So I was like, well, okay, so I got like 3 days to play with, this is in my mind. And so I did some Kratom the next day and the next day. And then I go to my doctor, and he's like, oh, it's going to take a minute. And I was like, oh no. So then it's a week, and then it's 2 weeks. And then it's like, now there's a thing. So to get the Vivitrol shot, you have to be clear of all opiates they say 14 days to be safe, but at least 7, or you'll go into something called precipitated withdrawals, which is where you take the naltrexone.
You don't want to be
my
there.
God.
Here, give the scientific definition for anyone that doesn't know what that is.
Yeah, so if you're high on an opiate, all your opiate receptors are occupied by the chemical, and when you take naltrexone, it will kick every single one of those off and throw you. It's Narcan, same thing. So it throws, except Narcan wears off, but naltrexone's much longer acting, and it'll throw you into immediate withdrawals of a severity you can't even fathom. And so I couldn't, once again, it's like, Doc, I don't think you fucking understand how this works. Like, he's like, you got to stop before we can take the shot. I was like, well, I can't stop without the shot, Doc. That's how this shit goes, man. Like, and so I had some of the pills though, and the naltrexone pills. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, like, I know what I know what's going to happen. I did a lot of fucking research on the internet, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take a quarter of a pill, and I'm going to put myself into a mild withdrawal, and then I'll be good. Okay. And it was like a Saturday morning. I take a quarter of a pill, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. And then I start to feel real funny, and I'd used Kratom the night before for reference. And then I run to the bathroom, and it felt like my kidneys, liver, and stomach were trying to be forced out of my anus. Like,
right.
Then I start vomiting. Then I'm yawning to the point where I thought I was going to break my jaw. I'm shivering. My skin is on fire. I try to lay down, and it's just excessively going. And I was like, oh no. So I run to my car and drive myself to the hospital. I park in the hospital. I get out, and I don't know where I am at that point. And I see this police officer comes up and says, do you need help? And I was like, yes. I was like, take me to the emergency room. And they take me in, and I'm just like, I'm stammering out what happened to me. And then I woke up like 4 hours later in a locked psych room, hooked up to an IV of some benzos. And dude, it was so fucking bad, dude. It was so bad. And then,
how fucked up am I that I'm like, oh, IV of benzos? That sounds pretty good. And the next phrase, that's so bad. It's like, it's like amazing. Anyway, you're in the psych ward. They're trying to anti-anxiety you out of this fucking horrible withdrawal because your body can actually take the benzos in.
Yep. So then they let me go, and then I used again the next day. And I had the shot scheduled, I think, for like a week from then. And that time, I go to my doctor and I tell him, hey, here's the deal. I have to get this shot. So if you can just prescribe me 12 milligrams of Valium, give me the shot. George is going to drive me home, and I'm just gonna ride it out. And he was like, are you sure? And I was like, yes. And I'm thinking, there's no way it's going to be worse than what I already went through. And bro, dude, so he gives me the shot. I go pick up while I'm in line.
And this is from Kratom.
Yeah. And Tianeptine.
This is all, I mean, everyone who's listening, this is from Kratom. This is not from fucking fentanyl, heroin, the fucking craziest dope in the world. This is from Kratom from the gas station.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Yeah. Oh God, I couldn't imagine. Yeah. It's probably all extremely similar, actually. But yeah, this is yeah, good.
It just needs to be
mentioned. It needs to be said. Yeah, this is yeah, man. So like while I'm waiting in line at Walgreens, I'm starting to feel it, and so I take all 12 milligrams at once, and I go home.
You're such a fucking piece of work. I swear to God.
Well, anyway, dude, I know what's coming, and my strategy.
But you're going to be out of them. Anyway, please tell me the story.
Because it's
why didn't you ask for 24? Why didn't you ask for 30?
I should have, because I wanted to.
You would have eaten 24 in line instead.
Right. I didn't think you would give me that. I had to, you gotta.
No, I think this is a fantastic story. I
had to kind of finesse him a little bit to make
sure.
I know what
you mean.
Man.
It's like you asked for a half an hour, but you needed an hour and a half. You needed 2 hours.
Yeah. And so I get home, I get on the couch, everything's kind of starting to shake, and then I black out.
Yeah.
And I then come to, and so it's interesting in that it just puts you through every textbook symptom of withdrawal, but in a very concentrated period. So first it's the intestinal, then it's the physical, then it's the yawns. And what I woke up in was the intense feeling of impending doom and fear. Unbelievable fear and panic attack, dude. And I woke up and no one was home and the house was dark because I think she had just like gone to the store or something. And I don't remember this, but I called my sponsor and I'm weeping. And I just said, I was like, he knew what I was doing, sort of. I think I told him, because all I said when I called him, I was like, Chris, is everything gonna be okay? Like, is everything? But I'm weeping, and he's like, dude, everything's gonna. He at that time, he can have the most like soothing, fatherly voice, man, and he just said like, yeah, Jed, everything's gonna be okay, man. It's gonna be okay, and I'm just fucking crying, and then I video called my friends Ben and Kenan and Andrew that I do the podcast with, and I'm just crying. Because I was, dude, bad things. Who knows? It was. I wish I could equate the fucking pit of hell that was that moment, and Then when Georgia came home, I turned on. I wanted to watch The Prince of Egypt, and I cried the tears of the ages watching the animated movie The Prince of Egypt, and thought about God and the world and what the fuck I had done. And then I woke up the next day 65% better.
Right.
And then I woke up the next day and I felt brand new. And I had zero cravings. And then 2 weeks later, my daughter was born. Wow. So it was the most insane. And it's going through something like that. Like it's kind of the same thing as being robbed. It's like I can't translate what I went through. Like, but it was some kind of weird like death and rebirth, and then new life came. It was the most insane. I'm totally at a loss of words for it, but it was the most insane like visceral spiritual experience in those 2 weeks that maybe I'll ever go through, of just the level of intensity.
It's
I've never told
very,
that story.
It's very, very intense. It's very, very intense. And it's like, it's a miracle. And then, like, after that, have you kept it together?
Yeah, I'm still on Vivitrol.
But you know the deal. I mean, it's like, all that shit is some flowery fucking shit, some deep, deep dive, dopey fucking shit. But all you have to do is, like, go to the gas station on the wrong day and, like, the jig is up.
Not while I'm on Vivitrol, but yes.
Stay on that Vivitrol, and then you know how to do every
oh yeah,
everything. And it's like, but I personally think the stakes are way higher when you have a baby. The stakes are higher. You're a different person. And I mean, I used when Nora was, until she was 4.5, I was using. I wasn't living with her. I'd have her every 2 days a week or something.
Is that a huge regret?
No.
Or okay.
I mean, like, I don't even. I mean, like, I couldn't do it any other way. That's just how I did it.
And
like, there was no other way. I mean, sure, it was. I wish I hadn't done it, but I mean, like, that's just my. I don't know that I would have gotten to where I got to if it hadn't gone exactly the way that it happened. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, she was 4.5 when I got sober. And the last year, I mean, for the first 2 years of her life, I was totally strung out on heroin, totally strung out on heroin. The next 2 years of her life, I was clean for a year, and then I smoked weed for a year and took an occasional pill here and there. And then I got sober. And I think 98 and whatever, we're going to get off of me in a second. 98% of my time with her, I was straight. I would smoke weed after she would go to bed, and I had a good relationship with her, and I don't have a lot of guilt around that. I'm so taken by your story though. Like, it's fucking intense. It's fucking intense as hell. And like, when I ask you how you're doing and you say great, I believe you now.
Yeah.
I totally believe you. How do you feel about telling that story? Does that mess you up, or is it like, fuck it, that's my fucking story?
Yeah, a little of both, I guess. I guess it is. Yeah, it is. It is it happened. You know what I mean? It is my fucking story. And I think you're very right in that. I think it's super important to tell about that. Like, dude, I got by some seemingly innocuous things that almost ended my life, which is crazy. Especially, like, anytime I have a close brush with some sort of death, and then I fast forward to where I am now, and I think back that if things would have ended then, how much I would have missed, and it's terrifying, and it fills me with gratitude and like, thank God, like, literally thank God, but for the grace of God, there go I. And it's like, so many of my friends, my old roommate just died of alcoholism we found out last week. He died in April. He's 36 years old. So it's just, what's
crazy? What's crazy to me? Because I'm sure people that are using Kratom regularly. And I know people that are using Kratom regularly. And tell me if I'm wrong, because I know the pharmacology and the chemical aspects way more than I do. But what it reminds me of, it's like somebody like you or me or any drug addict who's going to be on a run. If it's heroin, you can't sustain it. Mm-hmm. You can't sustain that run. But with Kratom, you can. So it's like you have these people out there that are using on a daily basis whatever I don't know the volume, like what it means, but they're on some kind of steady fucking clip. The only reason that happens is because they can afford it. The supply is never going to fucking end. The dude is never going to not show up. The doctor's never going to not write something. So you don't even know how bad you have it because it's so innocuous.
Yes. And I know one person in particular. It's 4 years now, 20 or so grams a day, I think. And I'm not, I'm not going to judge anyone, but it's like one day you're going to, it's one of those things where like, you can't do it forever.
Well, why can't you? That's a stupid
maybe
question.
You can.
Why can't?
Yeah,
why not?
I guess you can. Well, because it's one of those things. Maybe it will get banned one day. It does. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you can. To me, I don't. Either way, I'm sure I'm going to ruffle feathers. These are my own opinions, so I'll just speak for me. When I was on Suboxone, it just completely gray washed life for me. Same with you on methadone. It's like, okay, cool. Like I'm not using, but like I'm certainly not feeling life at its full potential, and that's how it was on Kratom. It destroyed my libido, it destroyed my spiritual life. I was more irritable. It was a lower quality of life for me, and so therefore it was not sustainable.
And the tolerance levels off. The tolerance of everything levels off. It's not. Yeah. You're not going to stay wasted. Oh my God. The tolerance will level off
so quickly.
You can. Maybe you can do it forever. Maybe you can't. How would you advise somebody who wanted to get off it? Like, what do you like? What's the best protocol for getting off?
Well, there is a huge difference in people taking powdered leaf versus people taking the extracts. And now the new thing is 7-OH. So the most potent alkaloid in Kratom, that is 13 times more potent than morphine, is a chemical called 7-OH. And now they have, so in a typical powdered leaf Kratom, there's like less than 0.03% by gram or whatever in it. In an extract, there's like 7% or 5% or 4% or whatever. There's more. And now they have just straight up, they have 7-OH pure capsules that are like 15 milligrams of 7-OH. So that stuff, it's basically Everclear versus Zima. So like powdered leaf people, that is sure, that's sustainable, maintainable. The extracts, like I told my friend, you are straight up unequivocally addicted. There is no difference in being addicted to that than being addicted to any other opioid. So for my friend, and there's also these things called feel freeze that got a lot of people. The dude is being sued, actually, the dude that made them, because it was marketed as this botanic kava drink, and the Kratom was hidden pretty well in the labeling, and it wasn't even part of the marketing. And my friend just can't, and it's the same thing. He just can't stop. And I'm like, dude, you are going to have to physically remove yourself somehow. You're either going to have to go to detox, or you're going to have to put yourself in withdrawals. And then I recommend, honestly, Vivitrol is a pretty awesome solution if you can get it. If you're.
But what about the precipitated withdrawals?
Oh, well, you can go to a detox if you can.
Go to a detox. That's great advice.
Or some people may be able to quit.
Get a script for 25 Xanax, 2 milligrams, and then really need 50. Go to fucking treatment. If you're really strung out on Kratom, just give yourself a break. Because you don't think you need to go. You think, I can handle it. It's not that big a deal. It's not a big deal, blah, blah, blah. But it is.
Yeah. And there's one guy in the Dopey Nation that I love, and he's been chronicling his struggle with it. And I think he just got over 100 something days. And I'm super proud of him, but you can see it's not, it's
Noel?
hard.
Noel? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in the Dopey Nation who are struggling with Kratom. Or
and then there's a lot of people that are
Kratom. What?
Yeah, Kratom.
Kratom.
Who fucking cares, dude? Say it how it looks. Kratom is another one.
Kratom. I like Kratom.
Kratom.
Anyway, what are you gonna say? Other people. What?
Yeah. And then there's a huge contingent that they're just defending it to the death, that it's the greatest non-addictive whatever thing in the world, and like, cool if that's for you, but don't you dare fucking suggest that for an opiate addict in recovery. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. We all know the easiest thing to do is nothing. You do nothing, like it's I mean, I have issues with food. But that's my only real issue right now. I mean, I have issues with food,
Dave,
self-hatred,
you've got issues.
self-hatred, fucking jealousy.
Food is not your only
lust.
issue.
I have other issues, it's true. But
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not in the fucking vape store, man. It would make me crazy. That shit would make me crazy.
Yeah, I do. Nicotine is like the final frontier that I need to tackle one of these days.
I like nicotine. I like nicotine a lot.
Yeah, same.
But I feel like the last time I did nicotine, I was sucking on some
lozenges,
and I was just like, I don't know. All those roads lead. I mean, nicotine lozenges make me feel a tiny bit nauseous, and I don't want that. If I smoked a cigarette, I'd get full on nausea. I mean, I haven't smoked in years. I mean, it's like I've become like a teetotaling fucking pussy. I don't know what the fuck happened to me. What, Jed? But I thought you were going to say you've always been that way. Would you? What?
No. I was gonna rag about Benadryl like everyone else rags on you for.
Well, you want to hear something really funny about Benadryl?
Sure.
I was super dependent on Benadryl, Tylenol PM, melatonin, right? Mm-hmm. Then I don't know what happened. Maybe 10 days ago, I was like, I'm going to stop. Like, I'm just going to stop. And I stopped. And it wasn't a thing, right? And I don't know. I think I had a lot of stress around a lot of shit. And then the stress kind of went away. And I stopped, and it wasn't a thing. And then I had a stressful night. I don't remember what it was. And I took melatonin. And I have using dreams whenever I take Benadryl, Tylenol PM, or melatonin. And I love them. Like, I fucking love them. They're
relapse.
Weird. They're weird dreams. And then a few more days went by, and it was the other night. I hurt my leg on Saturday. And like real bad. Like, I fucking look at this. Look at it.
Oh God.
Yeah, a kayak fell off the car onto my leg.
Oh.
And so that night I was like, I'm in a lot of pain, and I was having an allergy attack, and I was like, fuck it.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I took a Benadryl and a Tylenol PM, and I have a dream that I'm copping heroin from like some famous actor or something. Like
Hank Azaria.
I'm copping heroin. No, from like some like junkie actor guy. Like, and he's like, dude, I don't have any heroin. And I was like, I just got it from you. And in my dream, I was referencing all of the using dreams. Because in the dream, I was like, wait a second. I had the thought, you haven't done heroin in a long, long time. But I have this at night. I do. In the dream,
that's crazy.
In the dream, I have this weird using life. And the other night, I took whatever, Benadryl and fucking Tylenol PM, and I was copying, and I was questioning, like, what, like, I like the guy didn't have any. I was like, I just got it from you last year. And I was like, or last month. And in my head, I was like, but I haven't done drugs in so long. Have I actually done them and been lying about it the whole time?
Oh.
And then I was like, no, but I don't think so. But in the dream, I've been using regularly the whole time. Like, I have no real clean time in my dream self. My dream, isn't that weird?
It is weird. George is convinced. She goes by the theory that dreams are your parallel dimensional selves. So, like, somewhere there is using Dave, and
right.
you're just seeing his life when you dream.
I also had a dream that same night that me and Chris were on a cruise together. Like, we were on a cruise ship going somewhere, and I don't think it was a dopey cruise. I wish it had been a dopey cruise, but I don't think so. I think it was like a cruise, and like we needed to go record a show, and Chris wouldn't get out of bed, and I was just like yelling at him, like, let's go. Like, and I felt
Damn.
like that happened from time to time, but it's very, like,
That's laden with symbolism right there.
well, here, diagnose me, Dr. Jed.
Oh, well, I mean, like, what is water? Water's always like conflict or your life, and if it's choppy or smooth, and obviously like cruise ship, relaxing. You could all like separate life, afterlife, and then like Chris not getting out of bed is obviously like because he's dead.
But he wasn't dead. He was like just being a jerk off about it.
I know. I'm saying like
dream.
symbolically.
But it's so weird to see him. I've had like maybe 5 dreams of him. You know, that's it.
Mm.
And it's always good to see him in the dream. But
what does he look like?
He was just him. He was just like robust Chris. It was not like any kind of like macabre. I had one dream of total like macabre Chris. I think I told you that story.
Yeah.
I had a dream that I was in a hospital and somebody was sick or dying, and he showed up like in disguise, like wearing a trench coat and a hat and sunglasses because he was decomposing.
Oh,
and he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go. He didn't want to leave the earth, and it was really real.
Oh,
he didn't want to be done. He knew what had happened, but he didn't want to leave, so he was hiding. It's fucking crazy.
That's so fucked up.
Did you hear this story about there's this lady in Colorado. Her name is Steph. She's a medium, and she said that she was contacted by him, and she said that she saw him ascend to heaven, and it was the brightest light she ever saw, she said. You know, she also sent these weird pictures of these reflections in the mirror that looked just like him, and she sent it to me, and then she was like, "Do you see him?" And I did. It was fucking crazy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had, when one of my good friends died, someone reached out and was like, yeah, I'm a medium and I have a message. It pissed me off, to be honest, for some reason.
She was very sincere.
I didn't ask. Yeah, that's I'm not gonna. That's neither here nor there.
She was sincere. She was sincere. She didn't want anything from me.
Just
and she loved Chris. You know, it was. I remember we were going back. There's a water park in Pennsylvania called Kalahari. It's like the largest indoor water park, and we were driving back, and we stopped at a Cracker Barrel, and I got this email from her, and I was like, "Holy shit!" You know, like I was telling Linda, and she was like, "It was crazy." I've talked to her for years, though. Steph, she pops up every few years to mention some crazy medium kind of thing.
Oh, wait, she may have called me.
Psychic
Is
Steph?
she in California?
She might be. She's somewhere out there.
So, anyway, I gave out my phone number one time on air. I learned about
Brandon
this.
Novak.
Yeah. Boy, did I get some ringers, dude. And that, I swear, it may have been a Steph, and she was talking some crazy stuff because she was a dopey. She was a dopey person too, and yeah, I for some reason it rings true that it was a Steph. Anyway, listen, you always get the. This is not what
I got the juice.
Yeah, you did.
I got the juice. Thank you. I appreciate the juice. We didn't have to. I mean, like, this is
I know. Maybe it was supposed to. Yeah, if you want to do it as an episode, do it whatever you feel.
It's like I was going to just put it out tomorrow as Patreon. But I think it's episode worthy, you know. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you want me to do. Think about it. We don't even have to decide right now. We think about it. Thank you though, Jed. It's always it's like I can't believe that in all these years we never met, which leads us to the final bit of conversation, which is this year is our 5th anniversary of DopeyCon, and I have no plan. But what I'm thinking is I want it to be robust with true dopiness. And you're one of the people that, you know, fits the criteria. It's October 5th. It's in New York City. You really should put it on the fucking calendar. You'd meet a lot of people that you know. which is the craziest thing. You'd meet a lot of people that you already know, including me.
I know.
Put it on your calendar. Talk to Georgia. Bring the family. Dopey Nation does it.
It would have to be for sure. Okay.
All right. Thank you,
All
Jed.
right.
Appreciate the
Dave.
time. I love you too, man. Yeah, that's fucking heavy duty. Think about
Yes, sir.
it. Let me know what you think.
I will.
All right. Cool.
Bye.
Thanks.